Hey everyone, welcome back. Today let's start laying flat on the back, and we'll start by just settling in just a little bit, settling into the body, settling into the present moment. Taking a few breaths in and out through the nose, just noticing the rhythm of your breath at this time. Noticing how the body's feeling. Without feeling like you need to alter anything, without judgment, without notions of good or bad, just bringing awareness to your current experience in this moment. So today we're going to be focusing on the feet and the ankles. And this is a part of our body that we don't often think about too much in our day-to-day lives, but it's a part that is super, super important. Our feet connect us to the earth beneath us. They have lots of nerve endings that tell our brain where we are in space, what kind of environment we're in. There are many, many joints, which means that that part of our body is meant for movement and stability and moving in all different kinds of ways. And oftentimes our feet end up in shoes, very closed shoes with a lot of support, which means that our feet don't actually get the opportunity often to be used in all the ways that they're kind of designed to be. So today's class, we're just going to very gently begin to wake up the feet, move it in all different kinds of ways, maybe start to build a little bit of strength in areas that we're not accustomed moving in, and just see what we feel at the end of it. So we're laying flat on the back. We can extend the legs straight up to the ceiling, and I just want you to shake the legs out. So give the legs a good shake and let the ankles just kind of flop about. Feet are relaxed. Shake, shake, shake. And then we'll come to stillness, and we're just going to do a couple ankle circles. So like maybe 8 to 10 ankle circles in one direction and in the other direction. So for this whole section, your knees can be softly bent. Make it comfortable for you. So maybe placing a block or towel underneath you for a little height in the hips, if that makes it more comfortable for you to have your legs up in the air. We're not going to be here for too long, but yeah, just so that you're really comfortable. So we're doing, again, 8 or 10 circles in one direction, and then 8 or 10 circles in the other direction. And the toes are relaxed, and this is really just focusing on the ankles, so just kind of warming things up a bit. And when you're done that, we're going to curl the toes under, and we're going to keep that position as, again, we're going to do those circles in both directions. So again, 8 or 10 circles in one direction, 8 or 10 circles in the other direction. So in this one, we're really getting into some of those muscles underneath the feet. So all the muscles that support the arch, that support the metatarsals and the toes, and also getting into the calf muscle a bit too. And it's just very good to begin to mobilize these areas and get things moving, and notice that we can move the feet in a lot more ways than we often do. So after we've done our circles in both directions, I want you to give your legs again a little shake out, like really shake it out. Let those ankles kind of flop about. As long as it feels okay, there shouldn't be any pain or anything like that. And now we're just going to work with a simple point and flex. So with the feet about parallel to each other, we're going to do both feet at the same time. And I want you to start with the feet more or less flexed, with the toes kind of pulling back toward you. And then I want you to think of pressing the ball of the foot, pressing it away from you so the toes keep pulling back as the ball of the foot pushes forward and going as far as you can, and then pointing the toes. And then you're going to pull the toes back and then flex the rest of the foot. So it's almost like the toes are delayed. So the ball of the foot pushes forward, the ankle goes into plantar flexion, and then the toes point. So the entire foot is pointed now. Now the toes flex, so the toes pull back, and then the rest of the foot pulls back into dorsiflexion, so a flexed foot. Just doing this a few more times. Ball of the foot pushes forward, and then we point the toes. And as we point the toes, notice if you're kind of scrunching the toes together. Try to keep the toes a little bit spread apart from each other so you're not crunching the toes into each other. There's a little space there. And then we pull the toes back. Again, there's space between the toes. And then the foot flexes. Let's do one more. Ball of the foot pushes forward. Point the toes. The toes flex. And then the foot flexes. And again, let's do a little shake out with the leg. Shake, 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 shake. Nice. And we're going to make our way to standing here. So for this one, you may not see my full body. You're just going to focus on what you can see in the video of my feet. So we're going to do some ankle rolls. So starting with the right foot, keeping the ball of the foot on the floor or on your mat, wherever you are, we're going to lift the heel up off the mat, roll the ankle out and down and around, and then roll the ankle in towards the left leg and back up. So just making some big circles and putting as much weight as you're comfortable with on that right foot. So doing about 4 of these in each direction. And keeping that ball of the foot grounded and just kind of noticing what you notice as you do this. Where is feeling really good? Maybe where is feeling a little bit wobbly or shaky, and then reversing that, so letting the ankle roll in, heel comes down towards the floor, then the ankle rolls out and coming back up, and just kind of allowing the knee and the rest of the body to kind of just react. So you're really focusing on movement of the ankle. So again, we're doing about 4 of these, so maybe 2 more. Nice. And then when we're done, let's do the other side. So the left heel lifts, the ankle rolls out to the left, down and around in towards the right leg and back up, so keeping the ball of the foot on the ground. Ball of the foot and the toes on the ground. Making about 4 of these circles. Again, letting the knee kind of move as it needs to. Noticing what you notice. Maybe this side feels a little different than the other side. Maybe you notice a little difference in the mobility of your ankle. Nice. And when you've done 4, we'll switch back to the right foot. Now we're going to do a similar movement, but we're going to roll the entire foot. So the toes are going to kind of tuck under as we roll. Yeah, so we're getting into stretching a little bit the top of the foot, but being very gentle with this one because it can put pressure on those little toe joints. So as you move, letting the ankle roll in and over, letting the toes kind of come under you as you roll out and back down, and just kind of seeing what that feels like. So for this one, again, being gentle with how much weight you put onto that foot. Nice. And let's switch over to the other side. So same thing, the ankle rolls in, toes kind of roll under as the ankle reaches forward. The ankle rolls out and down. So Again, just kind of noticing what you notice, and this is kind of just like giving your ankles and feet and everything a nice massage, a nice stretch, a nice just releasing of tension. Might not notice that we hold tension in our feet, but a lot of us do. And a lot of us actually, it leads to dysfunction in the feet, and which can lead to dysfunction in the ankles, knees, hips, lower back, and right up the chain. So we really want everything working as seamlessly as possible. Nice. And when you've done your 4, gently release. Now let's bring the feet together. Feel free to hold on to your wall or chair or whatever you might have close by, table. And we're going to do some heel raises. So when you're ready, lifting the heels up as high as you can onto the balls of the feet, and then control lowering back down. And again, we lift the heels up and control lowering down. So just doing this a few times. So a few things to consider is how the ankles are tracking as you lift the heels. So making sure the ankles are more or less going straight forward in line with kind of your second or third toe, and not rolling out. Nice. And when you've done a couple of these, let's separate the feet a little bit so the feet are hip distance apart, and do the same thing. With the feet hip distance apart, we don't have that feedback of the other foot. Maybe your ankles were touching, your legs were touching, you kind of have that feedback. So make sure that the ankles don't begin to roll in now. So before we are kind of concerned of the ankles rolling out. So for this one, you want to make sure that the ankles aren't rolling out, but they also aren't rolling in. So we're going straight up and straight down. And when you get kind of comfortable with this idea, let's see if we can remove the kind of rock forward that we tend to do right before we lift the heels, and the kind of rock back that we do at the very end when we lower the heels. And let's see if we can kind of just go straight up and straight down. So for everyone, this might be a little bit different, but I've noticed that really finding that engagement of the inner thighs is helpful for not having that extra roll forward and roll back. And just notice what you notice as you try to do this, as you get more comfortable with this. And from here, let's make our way over to a step or any kind of little landing you might have. And we're going to bring the balls of the feet right at the edge of the step and kind of let the heels just kind of sink down. So coming into a nice calf stretch here. And going as far as is comfortable for you. So as soon as it feels like it's too intense, maybe pulling back a little bit, coming off, taking a break, going back again. You don't ever want to feel like you have to stay there or push if it's really not comfortable. And oftentimes if it is a little overwhelming, it doesn't feel so good. Doing more isn't better. The body isn't going to be like, oh, I'm comfortable with this now. No, the body's going to then maybe get injured. So just going as far as is comfortable and working there, taking a break, coming back. And eventually maybe we can work on doing one leg at a time. Yeah, so that'll bring more weight into one leg, meaning you'll get a deeper calf stretch on one side than the other. So maybe you can play around with that a couple of times, not staying too long on each side. And then we're going to bring both feet to the edge of the stair. So again, it's just the ball of the foot on the edge there, and letting the heels sink down. From here, we're going to come into our heel raises. So you get a nice full range of motion. So taking what we just did on the flat ground and moving it over to the edge of stair or landing or wherever you are, and getting a full range of motion so that we get strength at the end ranges of our motion. Nice. So doing that a few times, and again, noticing what you notice, taking a break if you need to, trying to keep the ankles from rolling in or rolling out, just letting them go straight up and straight down. And then from here, you can shake the legs out. Again, keeping those ankles relaxed, and make your way over to a seated position. Nice, comfortable seat. And you're going to bring the right leg in front of you and use your left hand and kind of interlock your fingers between your toes. So really getting the fingers as tucked up in between those toes as you can. And this is a good one for kind of spreading the toes. Again, with all our shoes that are often narrow and pointed maybe, the toes can kind of get squished and kind of stay in that position, which isn't optimal. It causes a lot of tension and restriction in the joints of the feet and the toes. And the toes and the feet work best when they're kind of allowed to be flat on the floor, spread out, and really help you balance, and all the toes can work. So having those fingers interlocked in between there kind of helps open that up a bit. From here, we're going to make a couple little circles with that left hand. So as you're making the circles with the hand, I don't want you to think of circling the entire ankle. I want you to think of circling just the end of the foot, so getting into the metatarsals there. So the ankle more or less is staying still, and you're kind of just rotating into the lower part of the foot. So doing just a couple in one direction and a couple in reverse direction. So this is a nice little foot massage that we're about to do. And then from here, I want you to take the right hand, so along with the left hand stays where it is, interlocked, taking the right hand and kind of flexing and pointing the toes. So again, this is really in the toes more so than the ankle. So as the toes flex, you kind of gently pull them back with that right hand along with the left that's interlocked, and then point and gently push them down. So again, just moving within a range that's more or less comfortable. There might be a little discomfort, that's okay, but that we don't want any pain or anything that feels overwhelming. And that's going to feel different for everybody. So again, always taking your break if you need to, coming back, or doing less than what I'm saying, and joining in when you're ready again. From here, we're going to do a kind of Thai yoga massage inspired massage on the feet. And taking that right foot, you're going to use your two thumbs under the foot, right where the heel becomes the arch, and then the four fingers on the top of the foot. So the bottom of the foot is facing either the side or facing up towards you. And you're going to gently press from that central position, right where the kind of the heel area starts to become the arch, and gently press along the lines that would lead you to the big toe, and then the line that would lead you to the little toe. So gently pressing and working your way out towards the big toe and the little toe. And then once you get to the big toe and the little toe, I like to do a little swirly thing with my thumbs, just kind of getting into the toes a little bit, and then release, and then coming back to that starting point, and then pressing. And this time we're going to work towards the second toe and the fourth toe, gently pressing and working your way up towards the toe, and then again doing a little swirly thing on the toes, and release. And then thumb on top of thumb, starting at that starting position right by the heel, and then pressing along the line that would lead you to the middle toe. And then again, once you get to the middle toe, doing a little swirly swirl and release. And just kind of sit with the feet side by side and notice how the feet may feel a little bit different. Nice. So moving on to the other foot, interlocking your right fingers in between the toes of the left foot. Just kind of sitting there for a little bit, really wedging those fingers in as much as you can, as much as is comfortable. Just taking a few moments to let the feet kind of open up and release. And then doing our circling with the metatarsals, not letting the ankle move too much and really kind of isolating that movement in the metatarsals, going in both directions. So taking a couple circles in one direction and a couple in another. So this isn't too structured. This is kind of just do what feels good, generally speaking, so just notice what you notice. Notice where it might feel really tight and it doesn't feel too good to push too much. Maybe notice an area that is a little more free and you can get a little more movement there, and that's okay. And just kind of play around with it. Take your break, jump back in, do what you need to do. Good. So from here, taking your left hand along with the right fingers that are interlocked between the toes and gently flexing and pointing the toes, using the left hand to gently pull the toes back and then gently point the toes down. So you're just kind of moving back and forth, finding a little mobility in the toes there. Nice, and let's gently release that. And then placing the thumbs right at the base of that heel bone, right where the heel becomes the arch. And then using the thumbs, pressing along the lines that would lead you towards the big toe and the little toe. And doing your swirly swirl. And then coming back and pressing along the lines that would lead you to the second and fourth toe. Pressing as hard as or as soft as feels good for you. It's your body, so you're getting that feedback as you're doing it, so you can adjust the pressure as you need it. And then coming to the middle, thumb on top of thumb, pressing along the middle to the middle toe, doing a little swirly swirl on the middle toe and releasing. Nice, and then noticing the feet. So that last little massage that's Thai yoga massage inspired is we're working along the meridians. So if you know Chinese medicine, they talk a lot about meridians. So let's make our way down onto the floor, finding a comfortable place to rest for our Shavasana. Wherever is comfortable for you. Doesn't have to be laying flat on your back. Maybe for you it's actually in a seated position or on your belly or on your side. So really just finding a comfortable place that you can rest for a couple minutes. And if you'd like, you can close your eyes as well. Just kind of check in with the feet, check in with the ankles, notice how they feel now. And bring that awareness of the feet and kind of bring it up the legs, finding a sense of ease throughout, and up the torso, out through the arms, up into the neck and the skull, the entire face. Just a sense of ease kind of radiating throughout. Coming back to a nice, easy breath, a natural breath, in and out through the nose, nothing forced. Taking a couple moments to just be, letting go of any ideas of things that should or shouldn't be. So please stay here for as long as you can. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave any comments, questions, insights, leave them below in the comment section. In the description box, I have a link where you can sign up and get a free 10-minute guided meditation, so check that out. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, sharing your energy, sharing your time. Have a great rest of your day. One love. Namaste.